Apparently, this year hasn't been especially positive for Kim Kardashian. The purposes for her new activities stay hazy, yet most would agree that it possesses been a somewhat humiliating energy for her. Whether it's because of her supposed disappointments with Kanye or other private matters, the shame factor is very high anyway. We should quickly save the thought of shame since this time it appears Kenny isn't associated with Kim's sketchy way of behaving. For what reason were you frantic that Caitlyn needs to go to the show since something it's her father? And she ought to go to something to that effect you need to let Kendall know that Kim got the front of Vogue. I truly needed to converse with you about the entire people circumstance. I've experienced it so often, where everyone you know simply needs to make a stride back. Kim's more youthful sister, Kendall Jenner, has taken an unforeseen position by encouraging Kim to avoid her better half. One can barely comprehend how lowering this present circumstance should be for Kim. While it's notable that big names face difficulties in finding love that doesn't legitimize endeavoring to seek after a heartfelt interest that has a place with your own kin, such activities can give the impression of distress inquisitively. Kim doesn't appear to be too worried about what her activities could mean for her public picture. Then again, a few fans are attempting to excuse Kim's way of behaving by recommending that maybe Kendall and her new accomplice assume a part in this situation. Conceivable, Kim's collaborations with Terrible Rabbit are just a PR stunt. Maybe to this end, Kim is endeavoring to catch his consideration. Anyways, genuinely shocking that Terrible Rabbit is by all accounts responding Kim's advances. Might Kim at any point endeavor to prevail upon Awful Rabbit? Or is Awful Rabbit himself playing with Kim additionally? Is there any reality to the bits of gossip about a heartfelt association between Awful Rabbit and Kendall? As we're mindful, Kendall Jenner and Terrible Rabbit have as of late become subjects of hypothesis as a potential PR couple. What is happening between them is turning out to be progressively puzzling. They've been habitually spotted together throughout the course of recent months, and sources recommend that their relationship is turning out to be more serious anyway in any event. When their relationship appeared to become official at a Lakers game, the two of them went to questions about its legitimacy persevered among fans. Shockingly, a significant number of recordings and photographs from the game just appeared to escalate these questions. Fans investigated each class, making their doubt develop Kendall's conduct, especially her clear endeavors to stay away from Awful Rabbit. Added to the disarray, she had all the earmarks of being quickly getting away from him, as though he were seeking after her like a lost little dog. Eyewitnesses additionally noticed that their correspondence during the occasion gave off an impression of being negligible, best case scenario. When the underlying reports surfaced about Kim endeavoring to shape a nearby and tender security with Terrible Rabbit, many fans were reluctant to accept it. Showed up rather strange. Kim and Kendall. It didn't make any sense anyway. For some, it wasn't all that astonishing in light of the fact that this wasn't whenever Kim first had participated in such conduct. She had recently accomplished something almost identical with Courtney. Apparently unfit to endure her sister's bliss, how about we face it, Kendall comes up short on unmistakable character and oozes a surprising feeling of nepotism. Maybe she accepts dislike her sisters, but rather more similar to her dad. Yet as individuals analyzed the recordings, it became evident that Kim was to be sure making propels toward Terrible Rabbit. You see, with Kim, it's not really that she wants Awful Rabbit, yet rather that she hungers for the consideration, the confirmation that she's as yet the most spellbinding presence in the room. So she probably believed that him should pay heed to him, despite the fact that he was not too far off with her sister. This conduct may be viewed as very disagreeable in any event. For Kim anyway, Kim took extraordinary measures to catch Awful Rabbit's consideration. While Kendall burned through no time in getting her man, the fascinating part was that Terrible Rabbit showed up to some degree charmed by Kim's activities, which probably been baffling for Kendall. How about we face it? Kim rose to distinction through a dubious video. Though Kendall is currently one of the world's top supermodels, While it is actually the case that she had the help of Kenny en route and didn't need to depend on similar strategies, as Kim to accomplish her status, it's significant that Awful Rabbit would need to truly think about leaving quite possibly of the most conspicuous supermodel on Earth. For somebody with 4 youngsters and disputable video, no decisions here, except for with regards to Kim and her youngsters' kids, can't necessarily change everything. Sure, she's rich, and could without much of a stretch find somebody who might acknowledge her, yet her youngsters are right now at a phase where they need a ton of close to home help. Kim can't just bounce on a plane and disappear to a confidential island for quite a long time like she used to while she has a group of caretakers and a lot of help. She can't leave for broadened periods like a 3-week sweethearts retreat. Her kids would without a doubt begin to miss her, and babysitters can't supplant a mother's presence. It probably won't appear to be completely fair that Kim needs to diminish her getaway plans while Kenny is off in Italy with his new spouse. Yet wasn't this what Kim needed? She held back nothing of the children, so she can only with significant effort backtrack and demand a 50/50 care game plan in regards to the terrible rabbit. And Kim's circumstance, it's notable that Kim has the sort of looks that terrible rabbit could find engaging. Tragically, her standing doesn't exactly line up with what awful rabbit may be looking for. Maybe Kim actually accepts his relationship with Kendall is just a PR trick, and that is the reason she's endeavoring to draw nearer to awful rabbit, recommending that she can divert it into something veritable. From the recordings, it's obvious that terrible rabbit was as yet keen on having the discussion that Kim showed up so enthusiastic about having with him. Terrible rabbit's radiating grin and Kim's coy disposition were unquestionable. Kendall immediately got a handle on the circumstance and quickly grabbed hold of his hand, obviously excited about getting him far from Kim, who appeared to be attempting to keep up with her grip on him. Kendall put forth a decided attempt to embed herself into the discussion, yet Kim gave her no consideration at all. Kendall's grasp on terrible rabbit was tight to such an extent that you could see her muscles flexing in the video. She even got his shirt, encouraging him to leave the scene all the more quickly. Maybe Kim had drunk an excessive number of beverages, as it has become to some degree an example for her of late. This conduct is humiliating, particularly thinking about that she is a mother of 4 who ought to have a superior handle on herself. As of now, Kim's issue appears to spin around her consistent longing for each man to be attracted to her, even the people who are engaged with her own relatives. This isn't just off face. Yet in addition, self-centered, it nearly appears like Kim had coordinated the whole circumstance. As we as a whole realize, Kim isn't known for her moving abilities. Yet it seems she has been rehearsing widely before a mirror, conceivably to catch awful rabbit's consideration. And it appeared to fill in as awful rabbit couldn't resist the opportunity to pay heed, investigate what is going on. And you'll see that Kendall is similarly mindful of what's happening. And it's apparent that she's upset terrible rabbit then. At that point, Moose's consideration moving toward Kim and participating in a hit the dance floor. With her, it's evident that terrible rabbit might have detected Kendall's bothering as he thusly endeavors to support her. By the by, he can't resist the urge to take looks at Kim, and Kim thus jumps all over the chance to catch awful rabbit's consideration. Significantly further, she starts throwing back drinks and strengthening her moving while at the same time keeping an immediate look on awful rabbit. This situation unfurls with a lot of show and a quality of distress in the video. Kendall battles to keep up with terrible rabbit's consideration, while awful rabbit endeavors to split his concentration among Kendall and Kim. This dramatization brings up the issue in the event that this is each of the an exposure stunt, for what reason is still up in the air. To stand out for terrible rabbit, what precisely is spurring Kim Kardashian in this present circumstance? Maybe Kim Kardashian is battling to grapple with the way that her sisters are all in cherishing connections, while she stays single. Anyway, plainly awful rabbit isn't keen on seeking after anything with Kim. She has 4 kids and a new chaotic separation that continually stands out as truly newsworthy. So the possibility that Awful Rabbit would leave Kendall for Kim appears to be exceptionally impossible on the off chance that Kim genuinely accepts. If not, she might be holding on to a degree of dream unbelievable. Whether or not their relationship is certified, or not the way that terrible Rabbit would participate in such way of behaving, well, Kendall is not too far off, and that Kim grants it says a lot about Kim's personality. It recommends that she focuses on her own longings over the sensations of others, including her sisters. However, what is your perspective on this let?